I'll call the March 11th, 2021 City Commission meeting to order at 6:30. Everyone had the opportunity to read the minutes?
Good.
Changes, corrections?
I have none.
Citizen comments. Have anybody here that does visit about anything non-agenda? Thank you. Consent agenda. One item on the consent agenda is an application by Albert Klaus, who I've personally visited with this week, and thanks for his service. It's a he's already serves on the Housing Board, and he would like to continue Housing Authority Board.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Anybody have any comments? Or thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? First item of business, Big Creek Estates Second Edition rezoning from agricultural AL to residential general district RG. Evening, Curtis. How are you?
Good evening, Commissioners. Curtis Dinas, Planning Inspection Enforcement Superintendent. The first item you discussed is the Big Creek Estates Edition rezoning. Application has been submitted by Adam Prey to request this change in zoning from AL to RG on the east side of the Big Creek Addition. This property is not located inside of the city limits. The yellow lines indicated there show that area, so it is in the southeast part of Hayes there. Big Creek Estates Addition development was platted in 2004 and is nearly built out. The area being rezoned is just to the east of this plat, and it should fit into the neighborhood nicely and look like original part of the plat. This request specifically here tonight on this slide is for the rezoning of the property specifically. This image here shows the current zoning, NC2 for single-family homes. To the north, there is up here the manufactured home or mobile home park that is there. And to the east in green is other agriculture. This is the future land use map. It is identified here as AP or agricultural production. It's adjacent to light density residential, which fits the single family residential type homes. It is part of the comprehensive plan to be compatible with this, so this is a logical development or adjacent to different uses, usually about a 5 out of 5 for this situation. It is logical and continues the character of the neighborhood, again, with single family being next to it. The developer will extend sanitary sewer to these lots. Each property will have their own water wells. The Ellis County Environmental Office has been involved to evaluate the properties for sewer and water. Here are the zoning districts or the uses allowed outright by the UDC. These are the limited uses that have compatibility requirements, typically dealing with design, parking, or buffer requirements. This is a list of the special uses required for the RG district. Any of these uses would require the Board of Zoning approval or evaluation, and then the notices do go out in that case for a rezoning or a Board of Zoning special use. Here are the options for you this evening. These options are provided to you by the state statute. You can approve the request recommended by the Planning Commission and city staff. You could send it back for further consideration with specific basis for further review, or you could deny the request from AL to RG, but requires a 2/3 majority vote. This here is the action requested. I will take any questions if you have any.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 3995, approving the change in zoning from AL agricultural to RG residential general district for a tract of land known as the proposed Big Creek Estates Second Edition.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Melick, a second by Commissioner Burgess.
Yep.
I heard kind of two
Yep.
voices over
Yep.
here. I wasn't sure. Discussion and questions, please.
Mayor, as I'm involved in the administrative process for the plat should it go forward, I have to recuse myself from the vote.
Thank you.
I think Jesse stated last week that this went to Ellis County Commissioners, and they worked out all of the,
Yeah, the plat did, and we will be talking about that next, and yes.
okay, thank you.
Anything else? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved 4-0, one abstention. Item 6, Big Creek Estates Second Edition Final Plat Approval.
Again, Curtis Dynas, Planning Inspection Enforcement Superintendent. The plat is our next discussion. Again, it's the same location. It is a little bit bigger area with an additional lot from the previous plat. It does consist of 14 lots, and Ellis County has approved this with conditions that the developer has agreed to. It's a lengthy discussion with them, but it worked out well. This is the overall plat design, and as you can see, there is a short cul-de-sac on this southern portion here. This cul-de-sac will be maintained privately, and the county won't have to worry about that for difficulty of equipment. The road going north along Prairie Drive here, it is there right now and will be continued to be maintained by the county. Big Creek Sewer District is available there and will be extended to accommodate these lots. They have acknowledged that the additions will is sized appropriately and allow the increased uses to their system, which eventually gets to us at the city. There is an oil well located over here that has been there for a while and with no known issues or past contamination. This black line here, there's a couple of them on each slide, or each visual, that shows where the floodplain is for the preliminary maps that's been proposed. It is obviously at the far east of that, and I'll get more onto this slide here. The proposed lots are 200 feet deep going from east to west. The floodplain is located again on that eastern side, which leaves approximately 100 feet or more of buildable depth for a structure to be there before it would be in the floodplain. The developer has incorporated appropriate drainage easements to allow any water to flow back toward the east into the floodplain. A drainage study was also completed by Driggs Design Group as part of the county's recommendation to perform that to get an idea of how that flowed through there. They did determine there is minimal impact for the structures and driveways that would be built, and the post-development versus the pre-development drainage impact data showed minimal impact. Ellis County Commission has had several discussions about the area for needs of improvements in roads, which would include Reservation Road and other signage and with the intersections of safety. Again, rural water will be not provided to these due to that is not available. Private wells will be drilled for these lots individually. One of the local contractors has evaluated the area, and the source is a good source since it is close to Big Creek and can support the additional development. Overall, this is the final plat. I also wanted to bring up a few concerns that were brought up forward at the City Planning Commission and the Ellis County Commission meetings. Ellis County performed or will be soon performing a traffic study and would be placing stop signs along Reservation Road at several intersections, including Big Creek Drive and Logan Drive. They also decide to do an additional study to address speed at the uncontrolled intersections. This concern was raised by property owners in the area. Also, these lots right here were not included in the rezoning because they were already zoned in C2 for single-family use. These lots are technically being replatted, and that is a common practice, especially for areas that haven't been developed or built on yet. Options this evening for you to is approve the final plat as submitted, request any further changes or considerations, or do not approve the plat. This is the action requested.
I'll move to approve resolution number 2021-005, accepting the final plat of Big Creek Estates, second edition.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Burgess, seconded by Commissioner Musil. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Oh, you
Same
need to
same
recuse.
abstention as prior.
Yes, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-1 with one abstention. Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Nice to see you. John, are you doing streets? Item 7, street maintenance program awarded bids.
Good evening. I'm John Brown, Project Manager, and I'm filling in for the Public Works Director, Jesse Rohr. Back in November, staff presented a plan for street maintenance in 2021. Since that time, the program has been finalized and projects were advertised and bids have been received. Tonight, you are asked to consider awarding bids for the projects to be accomplished this year under the street maintenance program. This year, there's a little bit under $1 million budgeted for street maintenance. That funding comes from the state gas tax, the connecting link maintenance, transfer from the general fund, and then we keep about $50,000 back for unforeseens and contingency. When we presented the draft plan last November, we recommended several maintenance treatments at various levels of spending. And now that the projects have been bid, I'll go over each one in more detail. This map shows the locations of all the projects. I'll review each of these projects separately in just a minute, but first we'll talk about the bids. On February 9th, we received bids from 9 contractors bidding on 7 different projects. Bid documents were structured so that the contractors could bid on one or more of the various projects. Several of those projects included multiple alternates to allow for the maximum use of the funding available. Now we'll break down each project. The first is seal coat. You're familiar with seal coat. It's a bituminous liquid that is applied to asphalt pavements. Most of the streets identified for seal coat are located in areas that last received chip seal about 5 or 6 years ago. Circle C Paving was once again the low bidder for this contract. They've done this work for us before. Polypatch is somewhat of an enhanced crack sealer. The Polypatch project will cover various areas identified by staff yet. And Stripe and Seal of Hayes was the low bidder for Polypatch, and they've done this work for us before as well. Curb and brick repair typically is performed on the older brick street areas of town. This year's project concentrates on 2 areas, the 200 block of East 16th and the 200 block of West 16th. The curb and brick repair for the East 16th Street area was the base or the main project for the curb and brick, and J Corp submitted a low bid for this project at $228,000. This block will be reconstructed curb to curb with brand new clay brick pavers throughout the entire block. The existing brick that are salvageable will be cleaned, sorted, and palletized by the contractor for use by the city on subsequent projects. West 16th Street was an add alternate brick repair project that includes only the north half of the block to repair an area that was settled over time due to a utility trench. The majority of the brick will be reused, and any additional brick required will come from those salvaged from the East 16th Street project. J Corp's bid for this add alternate was $70,000. Concrete patchwork will be performed in various areas where a large concrete panel or several panels have deteriorated to the point of needing total replacement. It has been several years since a concrete patching project was completed. The total low bid of all areas being recommended from Morgan Brothers of La Crosse and came in at $177,706. The following slides show various areas that make up the concrete patch project. We have the 500 block of East 20th Street, just to the west of Vine. The 500 block of East 18th Street, that's just south of Holy Family School. The northeast corner of 8th and Ash should be right across from the Golden Q. The 600 block of East 11th, that's just east of the bend in the road by Professors. The 400 block of East 5th by Santa Fe. Okay. And that concluded the concrete patch project. The asphalt pavement overlay project is in the area of Fort Street, where the surface is showing some severe distress, but the base appears to be in solid condition. So a 2-inch asphalt mill and overlay is planned for the segment of street from 33rd Street all the way up to the north end where it ends at 38th Street. APAC of Hayes was the low bidder for this project with a bid of $109,826. Pavement markings along Vine Street from 13th to 27th Street are planned to be removed and replaced. The current markings are approaching 10 years old, which is longer lifespan than typically expected, and it's due in many places. Road Safe of Wichita, Kansas presented the low bid at $118,901. J-Corp submitted the low bid for 3 areas of sidewalk. The first area is along 22nd Street, up here, from where the new East Multi-Use Trail will connect to Hayes Med and go on over to Wheatland. And that sidewalk will cost $24,835. Half of that cost, $12,417, will be reimbursed to the city by the Heart of America Development Corporation as part of the RHID housing project going on at 22nd and Wheatland. The second area, alternate 1, is at the corner of 13th and Golden Belt at a price of $8,726. And the third area is at the corner of 13th and Agnes at a cost of $9,453. The total for all 3 areas is just over $43,000. So here is a breakdown of the various projects and the total costs. We anticipate spending nearly all the funds as budgeted. So the options tonight are to award contracts as recommended by staff or provide alternate direction. Here's the action requested.
I move we authorize the city manager to sign contracts for construction as presented in the amount specified to be paid out of the funds identified by staff.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Melick. Is there any discussion, questions?
I like it. It seems like a very aggressive plan. And John, are you taking your vacations now? Because it seems like you're going to be extremely busy.
Trying to burn a little leave off summertime.
Thank you, John. Looks like a great plan.
John, on the brick and curb repairs, when we rebuild 200 block of East 16th, is that taken down, concrete poured, and then the brick put on top, or does that come down, set a base and sand, and then the brick set inside that?
No, that includes the removal of the old concrete below the brick, and then so we'll get new concrete, and then a 1-inch bed of sand, and the brick on top of that.
And the other thing is, I'm sure that you will make sure that on the concrete patching and panel replacement, south of Holy Family will be done during the summer.
Right.
Before school starts back up, so they don't have to.
Right. That language was in the contract requiring that to be done
Great.
outside of school time.
John, I just had one question. You used a word on 33rd, on 4th Street from 33rd to 38th. You said it's showing some severe distress. Jesse used similar word last week. How old is that, and why is it, do you think we have an issue with it like that?
I don't really know exactly how old it is. You know, the neighborhood of those houses, I can only speculate at the moment. It's probably in the late 60s time frame.
About 40 years.
About 40, maybe 70s, I suppose, something like that. You know, obviously, asphalt streets shrink. They continue to shrink over their lifetime, and they develop those thermal cracks. And we've struggled, particularly in that area, even on some of the east-west streets, you know, 35th, 36th, 7th, 8th, and stuff like that, in trying to I get that. Well, Fort probably gets more traffic than those side streets, so so it seems to be failing a little bit faster. But we do feel that the base is good. It's just that the surface, and sometimes whether it was a particular asphalt oil they had at the time, but we've done various treatments over the years, and it's just time to mill off the surface and put a new surface on there. And
Well, it's nice that the base is in good shape. I travel that a lot, either that or Willow, and I have been traveling it more just to see, and it is in bad shape. It'll be nice to have it repaired for the neighborhoods.
We're not my street. Get off.
Oh, I did. I got off. I went over to Fort. Any other questions? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Commissioners' comments. Commissioner Musil.
I'd just like to, as the mask mandate city mandate expired this week, just would like to thank not only our city, our county, our region. People could travel in the haze. There was so much negativity when it was all going on, and I want to commend Commissioner Burgess when you came up on the last vote of a number to where once we hit it, it went off. We didn't have to vote, and I just think it gave people like, hey, if we do it, it's going to happen, and it did. And there's such a, what I hear is a positive vibe in our community. People are coming back to our community because they're getting their vaccinations, and people that haven't been hazed in many months, and they feel comfortable. I talked to a bar owner that's a pretty big bar owner in town today, and said that his staff is going to continue to wear masks because he feels like many of his customers expect that, and and I think there's a lot of people in this community who are going to continue to do the right thing, and I think we've learned a lot from this. But just it was an interesting year last year dealing with the mask, but I think we're better for it, and none of us wanted to control anybody, but we were looking out for our community. And I got a son graduating in May, and I never thought he'd be in school all year, and he got quarantined for a couple of weeks. But other than that, it's TMP had prom a couple of weeks ago. Hayes High's going to have prom, and we just had 2 schools in state playoffs, and I never thought that would happen this year. So I'm very proud of our community, and just thank you, everyone.
Commissioner Malik.
The only thing I would do would be to encourage everyone to get your vaccine when it is available.
Got mine.
Thank you. Commissioner Burgess. Commissioner Reeder.
All I have is I appreciate everybody's hard work during this pandemic. Coming up on the 1-year anniversary is today. Yeah. I think we got a bright future ahead of us. We just need to keep working hard, and our community's done a great job. Please remember to support your local businesses. They were hurt hard during this last year, so please continue to frequent their establishments and respect their decisions. Thank you very much.
I echo the thanks of to our citizenry for how this was carried out. My hope during the whole process was we would establish some different behaviors. I was visiting in the medical community this week, and we were commenting how little flu we're seeing in the communities. And it's because of they tell me it's because of the masks. I don't know. But I was hoping we had some real strong behavioral change, not large gatherings. And I hope some of those things carry over. I've been in the community since the mask mandate came off. There are masks still being worn everywhere. I was in 2 or 3 different businesses that will continue. I appreciate that people are making the choices that they're making, but it is their choice at this point in time. The governor's mandate is in place until the end of March at this point, and the county did not opt out of that mandate, so that still exists. The city commissions is gone, and again, I thank our citizens for it. We're adjourned.